Hello, welcome to another vlog. It's my February update, and I'm just going to talk about stuff that's happening in the world and stuff that's happening with my channels and things of that sort. And what's happening in the world at the moment is that the US and China and probably Russia too are shooting down what they're calling UFOs. Unidentified flying objects. I think the US tend to call them UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, but let's face it, if it's a flying object, it's not really a phenomena, is it? In the normal usage of the term, it's a thing. The question is, what are they? Obviously, some are Chinese weather balloons or whatever they actually are, right? Spy things or anything. I think it's fair to say that what they are not is alien craft, because we might be at war with the planet Tralfamador now if they are. I suppose they're drones of some sort, basically, almost certainly, and using unknown propulsion systems, perhaps, at least unknown officially. Maybe they are something else, literally aerial phenomena, but if you're shooting them down, then they're objects. Not, as I say, they're not like ball lightning or something. So we'll await the analysis, I suppose, and then we'll be told it was a Chinese drone or something like that, perhaps. Although I've heard that the Americans anyway are saying we don't know what the propulsion system is, but maybe you wouldn't know until you look at it. It's not clear necessarily. Presumably it has some sort of engine, if it's human-made. I say it's not aliens because science really tells us that there are no aliens out there. Now, science doesn't know everything. We haven't studied the entire universe properly yet. But it is our best means of investigation. And we've looked around a little bit out there. And there's lots of rubble. There's amino acids suggesting that life has the building blocks everywhere. There's a trillion planets in our galaxy and a trillion galaxies in the observable universe. That's a trillion possible places for life. But when you look at biology, the odds of us are much worse than a trillion to one against. The universe is nowhere near big enough for life like us to have arisen. The known universe, let's put it that way. The observed universe. Observable universe. But, of course, rare things happen all the time, because everything that happens really is a low odds event. The odds of my being born are astronomical too, because if 1 second's different had passed, or even a fraction of a second's different, it would have been a different sperm cell combining, and everything would be different, and everything would be changed. And tiny little changes in my childhood could have had radical different consequences, and so on, right? So the odds of any of us being here are tiny, trillions to one again. Yet here we are. Something low odds happened, or science is wrong and the universe is teeming with life. Intelligent life, I think the only reason we wouldn't have seen it already would perhaps be that they're avoiding us, or that we are among the first. perhaps. There are lots of other theories about the Fermi paradox. Why isn't there alien life when it looks like there should be? But in fact, it kind of looks like there shouldn't be. When you look at human or life on Earth, from the point where the first cell formed to now, yes, it's okay, life. Something would develop and has developed. Whether it would have been like us or not is presumably purely random, unless it's preordained by whoever set up this simulation that we live in. But up to the point of that first cell, there's no explanation in biology of how it got there. Because natural selection only applies to things which can replicate, and hence they can cause beneficial changes to be inherited by the next replication, the next generation. But up until then, all you've got is kind of the same thing, chemical reactions, but there's no propagation of replication. In the natural environment, a molecule of RNA would be destroyed in moments. The only reason natural selection can apply is because it's in a cell which protects it from the environment. It's got this fatty surrounding and and some proteins and stuff which help it to survive in the wild long enough to replicate and do something and pass on improvements or even any changes. But prior to that, it really shouldn't exist. Biologists have worked in the lab and made RNA molecules artificially in a purely chemical environment. It took about 30 steps with human intervention every step of the way, which they say shows that RNA could develop naturally, but it actually shows that it could develop if someone or something is selecting the next steps. It hasn't shown actually natural development. It's shown that it's theoretically possible, obviously, and since the molecules are there, they must be theoretically possible anyway. But nobody's come up with an explanation of how it could happen in the wild at all. I mean, you can see how a human could develop from the ancestors of chimpanzees, more or less. There are questions about it all, but you can see it, right? But how a cell could develop from a chemical soup doesn't make sense. Chemical selection isn't the same as natural selection, and things are not propagated down from one generation to the next over millions of years. So, if life is that rare, we're it, basically. Personally, I have just a feeling that there might be a dozen civilizations out there in the universe, but that's not many for such a vast space. And also I think rather than travelling here, they would communicate in some sort of telepathic means, if such means are possible, because travelling would appear to be impossible. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I think the odds of these things being alien craft are tiny. I stand to be proven wrong, right? But conspiracy theorists, interestingly, say that the powers that be are planning to stage a fake alien invasion so that they can increase their totalitarian grip upon the world, right? So maybe this is the early steps of that. And sure enough, if we do see an alien invasion, be sceptical, because seek for real proof. Just because, the place is being nuked by aliens doesn't mean those are aliens actually nuking us. It could be anybody, right? Because there shouldn't be aliens out there, going by what science knows to date. More will be discovered. We might find some very primitive life here and there. I don't think we're going to find critters, you know. I could be completely wrong, of course. Only time will tell if we survive that long. I know people will say, but look at the Pentagon videos and look at, you know, and sure enough, the Americans have found, is it something like 144, maybe more than that now, 300 and something incidents from their own reports within the US military of unidentified flying objects or unidentified aerial phenomena, about half of which, including the Pentagon videos, are partly explainable by weather balloons, drones, camera optics, things of that sort. For instance, I don't know if you saw my old videos about the Pentagon videos quite a while ago. I was sceptical, of course. And you had this black fuzzy object rotating, and they were going, "Oh wow, it's turning." And I think I said at the time that it's obviously like the camera, the lenses or something are turning around, and that's why you're getting that optical effect. And sure enough, that has been what the official analysis says. There's another one which I didn't mention, which was it had a little flashing light, and it showed up as like a green triangle. But you could see looking at it that the triangle is kind of translucent, and it looks really like what you'd see with, say, looking at a street light through a raindrop on a window pane. That sort of spread out translucent effect. And yep, sure enough, the analysis is it's because it's being looked at through one type of camera and then filmed again with another type of camera, an SLR, and this triangular shape is due to the optics. And what it probably actually was an enemy drone observing their operations. That pill-like thing which moved super fast, you may have seen that video. It's been shown by analysis to just be an effect of parallax. You have an object close to the ocean moving maybe slowly, but an aircraft moving fast and keeping its camera fixed on it. The net effect is this thing seems to be moving fast, but it isn't. What it was, it could have been a balloon. And when you look at a lot of people's iPhone pictures of silvery UFOs, just remember those silvery party balloons you can buy these days. There are thousands of those floating around the world, which haven't burst yet, right? What are they going to look like? Just like these things, right? I'll believe the UFOs. I mean, even the Pentagon video, it's fuzzy, for goodness sake. You'd hope they could do better than 360p these days. I want sharp, clear videos which are not photoshopped or whatever, right? So I'll believe these things when I really see them, when there's convincing reports, and not just stupid Air Force pilots of 22-year-old guys who can't work their iPhone properly, trying to tell us what these things are. The fact they've seen things with their own eyes is very interesting, and there may be something, but aliens is not what they are, I'm pretty sure. Frankly, they're more likely to be demons from another dimension. David Icke is probably closer to the truth than these guys. Anyway, and maybe that is possible, I don't know. Science tells us nothing about it. Canadian Prepper has an interesting theory about it, that all this kerfuffle about UFOs at the moment is really meant to be a little distraction. and that really what's happening is that our DEFCON condition has been increased. And so, A, it's a distraction. They're just doing it to distract us from the fact that bombers and things of that sort are being moved into more deployable situations. And also, should I say A, B? I don't know. Because if the DEFCON situation has increased, then more things are likely to be detected. Because they're now looking more carefully for incursions. So it's possibly telling us something about military readiness, not about UFOs. Obviously, the big powers around the world have been exploiting drones to spy. They're perfect for the job. So now they're also starting to actually detect the enemy's drones. Well, great. Maybe you should have been doing that years ago. But it does mean that maybe our defence condition has been upped a level. And we're a bit more trigger happy now. But they'll shoot a few of them down and see what they are and how they work. If that's possible, and they claim to have done so, so let's wait and see what they say. As for other things, my YouTube channels, this one, Alphatucana, I'll vlog occasionally. The weather's been a bit funny for filming, and I've been kind of busy, so I haven't done a walkabout for a while. I'll get around to it, but I tend to do more in the summer when it's sunny. I would go out if it was pouring with rain, but we tend to just get pathetic drizzle at the moment, and that's not good enough. We've had the odd rainy day, but it always seems to stop whenever I go out. Anyway, on the Let's Play channel, Alphatucana Letsplay, the Stranded Alien Dawn series is coming to a close. Probably I think next weekend's will be the last set. And after that I've got a Civilization 6 series to upload. And after that probably Anno 1800. Now I don't know whether to learn the game and then play it. I haven't had a chance to even open it, right? So probably what I will do is an Anno 1800 first look Let's Play. But try and keep it down to a more reasonable number of episodes. 20 or so maybe. And we'll see how it goes, I don't know. Say what you think in the comments. And really that's all that's been going on. I go to work, I come home, I record some videos, I do some processing. It's processing that takes the time, actually. I don't do much processing and it still takes time. And that's it. I realise that in the world every crisis under the sun is all converging on us, and it's going to be an interesting few years if we last that long. But in the meantime, I think we have to just get on with our lives and do the best we can, and not waste it chasing money. Just actually live, you know, be in the moment, and that's how to be the best you can be, I think. Okay, bye for now.